What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're going to be going over a deck profile from none other than Nick that placed in the top cut. I think he was first or second. They top split in the case event, so it's really awesome to have him on here, bringing his spice, and we'll go over what his matchups were, and then we'll go over his deck profile, and then from there, we'll hopefully have some fun. So without further ado, let's get into this video and talk. So what's up, Digidestins? Today, we're going to be talking with none other than our good man here, Nick, who topped in the recent case tournament that happened in Rhode Island. At what store again, Nick?
It was Rescue Gaming and Collectibles.
Ooh.
I think that's their name.
Okay. Are you a regular local there?
I'm going to be. That's
Okay.
For sure. That's for
Ooh.
sure. It's great. It's a great store. I love to support all the locals that are going down there.
For sure. So, tell us a little bit about how your day went with this, and I figured people needed to know exactly who decided to be the crazy man and decided to smack not one, but probably a bunch of shiny boys this whole case event, and decided to put them in their place. So, tell us a little bit about your matchups and what made your decisions so clear to pick for this event.
I guess I'll start off with my decision to play the deck I did was based off of round one. I sat in front of my opponent. I had like two decks in mind, so I put them both on a randomizer app and I clicked random.
Oh no! You let fate decide?
It spun a wheel, landed on the deck that I played, and I committed. I built it the morning of, anyhow. It was my number one pick next to Bloom Lord.
Okay.
But it's like Bloom versus Belf. It's a very scary matchup, and I know Belfamon is very cool. It's also very strong, so I was like, I don't want to sit in front of a near auto loss.
Mm-hmm.
Like immediately first round for sure, and there were a couple Belfamon at the case tournament, so I actually faced one round 3. So I'm glad I did not choose Blue. Yeah, I mean the way the rounds went, round 1 I played up against Blue Flare, I took it in 3.
Oh.
Then I played against Security Control, took it in 2. Played against Belfamon round 3, took it in 3. Round 4 was Wargreymon. I took it in 3. And then my only loss of Swiss was Royal Knights, which still went to a game 3.
Okay.
Top 8 was against Shine, took it in 3. Top 4 was against Shine, took it in 3. And then we split the finals, because we were trying to split since top 8.
Yeah. But, you know, the greedy Shine Boys decided to be greedy Shine Boys.
Both of them, yeah. And I faced both that didn't want to split. Which is fine, I understand, but it didn't go their way. And you made top as well, so congratulations to yourself.
Appreciate it. If I didn't brick, you know, right into the round, I would have been fine. Oh my god, the top 8 opening hand. Oh, look! I got no bridge here. I can't go into an ultimate. Let's hope I get it a little bit. Nope. Well, let's see. Game 2. That can't be as bad. Opening hand. Semi-decent. I can work with this. No Tamers, but, you know. Comes along and look at it. 6 Searchers. Still no Marcus by turn 6. I'm like, okay, this is how we die with Melga. Galmon. We dying by the blue boy. But
Yes.
wasn't your 4th round opponent your top cut opponent as well?
Yes, my 4th round Shine was my top 8 Shine. Yep.
So you smacked him down once and then proceeded to smack him down again.
Yes. Yes. And then another one in round 4.
For sure.
It's kept coming, man. I don't know. Shine feels like a pretty decent matchup. Like 50-50 or my deck's favor.
Okay. So let's get into this amazing deck profile, and then we'll ask some questions that are based. Go ahead.
Alright, so, for the case tournament, with the randomizer of round 1, it was between Bloom Lord and BT-12 Raid Wargreymon.
Okay.
A deck that I know a lot of people probably aren't thinking about, aren't really looking at, New Toy Syndrome / Shine's obviously a good deck, Mirage is a good deck, Belphamon's a good deck, but I was like, nothing is clicking for me very well. So I wanted to start off with something that I liked. Obviously, for those who do know me, I'm a big green guy, and honestly, Raid Wargreymon feels just like Grandis, but in red. So, we'll go over it. Starting off, I played the 4 Coromon here that are on your turn. If you have Agumon or Greymon in your name, you gain 1k. I really like the Draw Coromon better. However, in this current metagame, specifically obviously against Mirage Galgamon, the when attacking draw 1 isn't optional. So, once the card's added to my hand, that might stop my turn depending on how the board looks. And I don't want that. I want to be able to go up and just do my whole aggression thing. You want to control the board and nuke their security. So, I went with this Coromon. 4 eggs because I never wanted a 5th, you never need a 5th.
If you ever get to a 5th, you're probably losing the game at that point.
Exactly. You've been rookie rushing quite a bit. If you're just like, keep raising up clicking, it gets really rough sometimes. So, just the standard 4 eggs, nothing too crazy here. On to the rookies, which is still like no surprise to most people. We've got a whole Agumon party. We've got 4 copies of the promo Agu.
Okay.
As long as you have Greymon in your name, you gain 2k. 4 copies of BT-12 Agumon. Really good searcher. It hits a Tai and a Greymon or Omnimon when you look at the top 4. And then all turns, if it's Greymon or Omnimon, you gain 1k. Which is really nice when some of your Shine matchup. It's really good to get that extra 1k because they have to really push to DP reduce you. And then just 4 copies of the Agumon X. It's free on all your other Agumons. On play, you can find X Antibody and a Omni or Greymon, so it's still just really nice to search out the rest of your top end, the rest of your pieces. And just extra cycle on top of all your Agumon. I like playing decks that have 8 searchers, because it just feels nice and consistent when you're a player like me that gets a little unlucky sometimes and bricks.
So, with the promo, why did you pick the promo over, let's say, the other the BT-5 Agumon that searches? If 12 searchers might help with the consistency.
Mostly just so, for the boosts. Because after Wargreymon, after it evolves, it's only a 12k, maybe a 13k. And depending on your inheritables, you might not be big enough to swing into opposing things in security, such as, all the bursts are 15k.
Okay.
All the Death X, that's still kind of relevant, that's 15. There's a lot of bigger things that are still in security sometimes, and I just wanted to always make sure that I could be super big, as well as, the plus 2k is really nice with Raid in general. So my Metal Gray is now a 9k or a 10k with the egg, maybe 11k with a Greymon, so like, I can Raid into other level 5s, some level 6s, and with Metal Gray X Antibody, you gain that extra 3k. So this thing is like at least 11. Then with the Agumon, it's a 13. The Coromon you're a 15. Like, it's huge. So definitely having that extra 2k is really nice. If you can't find those promo Agumons, you could play the starter deck Agumon from the Gallantmon deck, I believe.
Okay.
The one that when you attack a player, you gain 2k.
Yeah.
That could also work. There are just some instances where I can't attack the player. Like, I have to deal with something. Because a way to get through Raid at times is to have your board being suspended. Because the Raid doesn't actually auto-direct to a suspended Digimon. So sometimes you still have to swing into your opponent's board because you do still have piercing.
Yeah, if it's not unsuspended, you can't use your Raid. So that's where that Agumon fairly struggles to shine its best.
Exactly. So I think the promo is definitely just most consistent for just big damage. You just
Okay.
want to be a big number and swing.
Hey, bada, swing!
That's right. On to things that swing big. Champions, we played 10 of them. 4 copies of the starter deck Greymon. Sec plus 1. That's all you need.
Okay.
It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All you want to do is go aggro and wipe your opponent's security with multiple swings. Then we have the 4 copies of Greymon X Antibody. Evos for free over all of your Greymons, which we do play 2 more. And then it has that nice protection of you can strip 2 of the same level. If this were to get bot decked, bounced, or deleted by an effect, this Greymon has you covered. So if you do hit an option in security, you're good. If they try to just Gaia Force you. If Belfmon tries to use the Karada, slide it underneath, try to pop your Wargrey, you say, nah, I'm good. We'll strip 2 rookies, we'll strip 2 5s. You get 2 uses out of this, sometimes even 3. Because you could strip 2 5s, then 2 rookies, and then the 2 4s. So this thing is just fantastic. It's all turns, not once per turn.
Okay.
And then, the 2 copies of BT-12 Greymon. This card came up a lot, and I love it. I still only played it at 2 because I feel like these 2 are the more important champions, and then these guys are just my little support. The Inheritable is just like the Agumon. All turns, your Greymon or Omni gets 1k, which is again really nice versus Shine. And just other things in general, it just helps general math. You're always just 1k bigger. But it's when Digivolving effect is, if you don't have a Tai Kamiya in play, you can play one. And that came up huge. Because you can search the Tamer out with the Agumon, and then just immediately evolve into Greymon and get that value. So instead of paying 4 or 3, you pay 2. So why not?
Okay. So there's some questions here now we have to make some answers to, because...
Of course.
So first off, tech choices are great and everything like that. Your lineup is pretty solid. But why no the virus version of, at least, so that you can Digivolve for 1 onto your, Metal Greymon with Raid? That's a complete extreme sequence. And then why no, subsequently the Greymon from BT5 that gives you an extra 2000 DP, but it allows you, when you Digivolve, basically gain a memory as long as you have an Agumon in the line.
That's right.
So,
yeah, I mean, the first time I showed the list off too, a lot of people asked the same question. They were like, no BT-11 Greymon? Question mark? And my first argument, well, I won't even say argument, just like my main reasoning is because I never get the value of getting that Evo reduction. If you raise first in this metagame, it feels like you'll get punished a lot more often. And this deck is a very reactive deck, unless you can already tempo your opponent out of the game. So every time I'm in the raising with that Greymon, I don't want to promote and then go raid for 1 and then Metal Grey. Like, the combo can work, and it's fantastic. I'm sure it's fantastic. But I never want to raise unless I have a level 5 already established in the raising area. So I never see the value of that Evo reduction. Its protection is also not as consistent as the BT-9 Greymon. If I played more copies of the X Antibody option card, maybe I'd consider cutting one of, probably cutting one of these to the Greymon X. But mostly because you're just it's kind of like BT-5 in a way, where we're kind of in a raising meta. And like, you want to make sure that you establish your first stack and get the most value out of it. I wouldn't want to, maybe preemptively raise because I can get that cost Evo reduction, and then still not have all my pieces yet. And that would be kind of my same reasoning for not having the BT-5 Greymon. I love that Greymon. That 1 cost Evo is amazing, and the Inheritable is sweet because you gain an extra 2k, which is good. It's better than 1k like this guy. But this is kind of this is the champion that's safest outside of raising, for me. And I get to also play its high. Whereas, that extra 2k is amazing, but it's the same deal of, I'm staying in the back most of the time, and I'd still just rather have the Sec plus 1, almost, quote-unquote, almost always.
Okay. I see it. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's just I'm staying in the. Maybe it's just the way I play it too. Like, feel free to anybody that wants to try out the deck. Feel free to just play the BT-11 Greymon. It's probably going to be amazing. The way I play it, I almost play this deck like Grandis though. I just I wait until I can either tempo out my opponent or just punish the board enough to give me enough advantage to push for game the following turn. So I like to stay in the back a lot and then raise and really tempo out.
Okay.
Speaking of the tempoing out, this card's nuts. The Raid Metal Gray is absolutely insane. No one is safe when this guy's in the raising. Like, your opponent doesn't want to play a body, and they're probably going to, or they'll have to. The amount of level 6s that I was able to raid into, and then use X antibody to warp up into Metal X, and just punish level 6 with a level 5, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And, so, he's got raid. When the attack target all turns is changed, you can play a 4-cost or lower black or red Tamer. So this spits out an extra tie for you. I would play Yuya, but we'll get into that in a second. And then it gives your Omni or Greymon piercing. That's insane. It's a cool mod, but in red. And you give this thing piercing. And this thing is nuts. You can just Evo it, get Sec +1 anyway, and then if you have X Antibody or Metal Gray in your stack, you gain that extra 3k. So this is 11k, with the Egg you're 12k, the Agumon you're maybe 14k, the little Greymon you might be 15k. A 15k level 5 with like at least 2 checks piercing. That's nuts. For free over this thing. It's nutty. It's such a good card. I love it so much. And the combo is fantastic to just raise out your Metal Gray. You go into Metal X, you gain that 3k, you gain Sec Plus. You go into your level 6, you still carry the 3k and the security attack plus, and you're just off to the races. The deck just melts face, and this is a very big part of why. If we didn't have either one of these cards, deck would not be as good. Guaranteed. These cards are insane.
Okay. I see where you're coming from.
I have considered the BT-11 Metal Gray X antibody as well.
Yeah.
That DP reduction protection is awesome. A lot of the times how I've seen through the Shine matchup in general though is I'm just too big. Wargreymon, he's just too big. Like the turn you Evo him, he's just too big. You've got an extra 6k total, making him an 18 like by himself on Shine's turn, and it's got reboot, so you can't just chip him down by 7 and then swing over it.
Yeah.
Like, he's still active. It's crazy. It's crazy.
For sure. Those magic numbers do matter.
Yeah. The deck is big. The deck is big.
He's one chonky boy.
It's one chonky boy, and it's my favorite mega of. Well, it was my favorite mega of BT-12 to begin with, and so far in BT-13 it's my favorite mega too. The Wargreymon's insane.
Okay.
He's got raid, so he can swing into your opponent's unsuspended Digimon, which is fantastic. It is so good to be able to do something like that. Like, when we first got Judgment of the Blade with Jessmon, insane. Insane. And now we just do it on Evo? Ridiculous. Not even on Evo, it's just a keyword now.
Yep.
Okay. It's kind of absurd.
With piercing too.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Then when you Evo, it gains 3k and reboot. Don't know why. They just said we're gonna give him this. Insane. On Evo, you're at 15k. You can swing twice because of this next effect. And at the end of the start of your opponent's turn, he restand. So he's like safe. All turns once per turn here, when an attack target is swapped, unsuspend this Digimon. So if you swing at security, redirect it to one of your opponent's active Digimon, boom, he gets to restand. Crazy. And with the Tamer, tie, making him a blocker, he can also double block on your opponent's turn. Because blocking is a form of attack redirection.
That
So
it
you
is.
block, redirect the attack, key on suspense. That came up huge in the blue flare matchup, actually. It was crazy. This card is nuts. Love it. And to some people's surprise, I play 2 other level 6s.
Ooh. OG.
Eldest Wargreymon. The BT-1 Wargreymon. This thing, I've always loved this card. On Evo, you get Sec +1, so you can almost pseudo red OTK your opponent with this deck. Like, you can do it with either one. But more importantly, it doesn't check opponent's security options. So, I don't know, for me, I don't like Wargrey X all that much. I want to be on this guy at all times. Wargrey X doesn't have raid. So, like, come on. Wargrey X also will activate your opponent's security bombs. I don't like that.
And could die before you get the memory game back.
Exactly. If you die, if you get, if your stack is already a little unlucky, like you don't have the protection, and then you die first check to some silly thing, or you get bounced by, what's that? The new Cocytus breath, the full moon.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah, full
meteor-
the thingy.
The blue thing that bounces you. You know, you feel super bad.
Full moon meteor impact.
There it is. There it is. Full moon meteor impact. No, this card says no. No this, no that, no nothing. So it was just kind of a call because it was the first BT-13 event that I was going to actually be competing in, and I didn't know what I was going to go up against. Am I going to go up against a lot of SecCon? How many options does Belphemon play? How many Gift of Darkness do they play? Like, am I going to fight against mirrors? Should I tech against opposing Hades Force and security? Like, there are little things like that where if you don't have protection, you still have some form of security wiping with this Digimon.
Of course.
So I wanted to keep it pretty streamlined.
Now the question comes down to why no Black Wargrey instead, or Black Wargreymon X? Oh no! Or
Black Wargrey X.
yeah, why choose the Wargreymon? I get the raid package and I get the option shut off, but you could almost do a grindier game with that version and deal with your opponent's threats that way too.
You can. And I was first on Black Wargreymon. That's like my main like red deck. I was always like Black Wargrey, Black Wargrey, Black Wargrey, nothing but.
Okay.
It's the speed.
Okay.
It's the speed. I feel like Black Wargreymon, and I love the deck. I love the deck. It's an amazing tempo deck. It's very reactive, and it's a very like you just pointed out. It's a little more of a grindy deck. It's a little bit slower, and that could give your opponent some avenues, especially Shine, to come back. And you don't want to give a deck room to come back at all in this meta. This meta seems very like, I'm going to establish tempo. If you can't crack back, you lose.
Okay.
And decks that give you more time to breathe, I feel like will get slowly more punished over time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like the amount of times I would just, if my opponent gave me one more turn, like one extra turn of they're just like, I have to set up. I still have to set up. I can't play a Digimon down because he's got the Metal Gray in the back. He can just raid into it. They pass. They do whatever. They give me 3. I've got my Memory Tamer or something. I say, okay, I'm gonna start the initiative then, because I'm gonna have a dude that's bigger than yours, swinging twice, maybe, melting a lot of security anyway, giving itself reboot here. And I almost felt if I raised first with this deck, I was almost unpunished.
Okay. What about
Black Wargrey,
what about Gaiomon though? That's another option.
that's another option. Trust me, that is another option. One of these could be a Gaiomon real quick, let me tell you.
Or, you know, it could be the Gaiomon, both versions. Because
Oh yeah, that's true, the EX4 Gaio too.
yeah, because that one will warp into the other one and blitz and give you the reboot, while digivolving your opponent's stack by one that you could possibly be swinging into.
Yes. That was always after the event. I said, I could change a Wargrey at minimum. I could try it out because that tempo aggression to be able to like raise your level 5, raid with it, and then use X antibody to go into Gaiomon. Nuts. Because then Gaiomon gives you 2 checks anyway with the reboot, like you mentioned. The D-Digivolve as well, because you will always have a black source. It's just nuts. Definitely a very strong option. 100% I could see Gaiomon coming into this list because this is more of a aggressive style, pushing the tempo, but it also has enough tools to react to your opponent's move. And that's what sold me on it over Black Wargrey. Because a lot of the times, Black Wargreymon can still, even with the new tie, Black Wargrey can still pass over the turn.
Okay.
And I don't want that. I want to be able to, like, do my thing. Smack my opponent up. And then they still have to, they pretty much have to respect the fact that they have, like, 2 or no security. And this huge stack. And they're just like, well, what do I do? What do I do? And
Cry.
I'm still here with 2 level 7s. Which is also probably not going to turn some heads, but be a little like, oh, okay. I ran 2 Blitz.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just 2 Blitz.
Blitz is good. Blitz is never going to be bad.
No. The amount of times I evoed into, like, Omni for game, my opponents kind of sat for a second. They were just like, oh, yeah, okay, that's a card. I forgot. I just go, okay, and, Blitz for game. They're like, right. There were a few games where I would have to go into Omnimon anyway, just to get this restand, so that way Shine couldn't ping me down and then swing into me.
Okay.
So Omnimon was definitely, my finisher in maybe like 85% of the games, and the other 15 it was actually used just for a defensive tool.
Okay.
It was nice into Belfmon too, because I was able to save myself from getting like double popped almost.
Okay.
It was a weird interaction, because I think it was... No, Karada only pops a level 6, right? Or is it 6 and higher?
Karada is level 6, I think.
Specifically level 6, right? I think so. I believe it is. Well, like, it was... I forget what the interaction was. I think it might have been retail or something crazy. It was really annoying. Let me tell you. I was definitely like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, why does that have block or retail? Can you knock this off? That's not standard. Play the standard version, please. Yeah, but I mean, it's really fun too because you can activate the blitz or the restand at different times. So you could, like, the obvious one is you swing twice and then you evo, restand, and then blitz. But there were actually some times where I would evo, blitz, when digivolving, unsuspend. So I just get one extra little chip in against Shine, unsuspended, and just chilling. I'm like, no, we're not doing this. Because the turn after you don't have reboot, it is a little more scary to swing out. Because sure, you can raid once, restand, but you've got to make the decision. Can I swing again? Can they punish me if I swing again and stay suspended? So this was an extra little get out of jail free. Like, no, I'm still active. Yeah, I mean, I really like a lot of control Omnimons too. Like, I love Omnimon X. That was one card I was debating on. The old one. Then I did debate on the new one. Because that card's absolutely insane.
Well, yeah, because it can close out a game by himself.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, imagine that. That's a good card. But, I mean, this card just did exactly what I needed it to do. Because I piloted it kind of like Grandis. Kind of like just a red OTK. Just boom, boom, Omni for game. When it popped off, it popped off.
Okay.
Always solid. And that was it for the Digimon. Played a few options. We did touch on Black Wargrey. I definitely wouldn't play this deck without Tamer removal.
Okay, triple Hades Force. Okay, this man is ballsy. I got it.
Real.
So this man went up and said, you know what? You like Tamers. I don't like Tamers. Get them off the board. I'm going to make you have a bad time. Oh, you thought you saw my second one? Nah, bro. We gonna be getting my third. Here's my third one that you didn't know about.
Exactly. The amount of like head turns, because they would count, right? Like you're searching in this deck every now and then. You're gonna bot deck a Hades Force, okay? Then you play one, and your opponent's like nodding. They're like, okay.
Slam down a bunch of Tamers.
Hades Force. They're like, what do you mean Hades Force? Yeah, being able to have just the control options for this are just fantastic. Because we don't run the Black Wargreymon, the Hades Force is just really strong. I definitely wanted a third one. You could opt to run, like, instead of the Hades Force, you could run a Black War. But I just like this because it also just says your Greymon gets to attack a player. So I also still get Raid on top of it. So I get to kill Tamers and kill a Digimon. So I'm like, why would I not run just 3 of these? The card's insane.
For 5 costs, it's not bad.
Brilliant. For 5 cost, yes. And we got 2 copies of Red Memory Boost, because the deck needs to be consistent. You need to find your pieces, and Red Memory Boost is supposed to do that. It didn't for me in Swiss, but that's okay, because we got over it. But, yep, top 4, find a red Digimon, add it to your hand. It searches every single Digimon in the deck except for Omni, which 8 of your rookies can do, so you're chilling.
Okay. Like a villain.
And then, chilling like a villain. 2 copies of X Antibody to round out the option cards. I will do a third one. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's definitely not a Hades Force. This card's stupid. But like,
yeah, you ain't going nowhere.
Hand in hand. Very tough.
Okay. I see it. I see you, boo. I'll see you, boo.
And I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, you should run Wargreymon X, so that way, like, you get more value out of the X Antibody. But to be fair, this isn't really like a stupid can, for real. So, yeah, I don't treat it as like an X Antibody deck. I treat it just as a Wargrey OTK control. And the X Antibody is mostly there to cheapen up the Hades Force and to warp into the
X Antibody. Yeah.
Exactly. Rounding out the deck, we're playing 5 ties. We've got the new BT-13 one. This is for 3 cost.
Okay.
Start main/on play. You give an Agumon or Greymon 1 can blocker until the end of your opponent's turn, which is amazing. This is really good in tandem with the reboot. It's great in tandem with being able to restand when you redirect attacks. Fantastic. And when you evo into a Greymon or Omni, you can suspend it to gain a memory. So it cheapens up a lot of your evos.
Okay.
And then, of course, 2 copies of BT-1 tie.
Oh no, this man's not playing Cool Boy. His deck's not broken. Oh no, it's fair.
No Cool Boys. No Cool Boys. For me personally, I hate Cool Boy. Only because it bottom decks the 5s I need. It bot decks the cards I need. None of my 6s are X Antibody. Only 4 of my 5s are, and I really want to go into Raid Metal Grey first. So, just these. It was super consistent because I can find them off Agu, I can play them for free off Greymon, I can play them for free off of Metal Greymon, and this tie just gives extra aggression. Like, you play one of these for free, you are chilling. Gets hit out of security, you're even more chilling. This just the amount of extra security melting is fantastic, and that was my goal for the event, because obviously first event of BT-13, I don't know what's good, I don't know what's bad.
Understandable.
Pressure.
Yep.
Committing to an aggressive style that can still play tempo. Felt really good.
Of course, of course. So yeah, definitely very solid list. I have no objections here. This looks really great.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Standard, with a little bit of
Finessed a little bit. That's more suited to your play style. Most people wouldn't be playing XYZ, so you know what? You gave everybody a little more spice to work with, as they say.
go.
And you gave some explanations why certain cards were better than the others, like the Coromon paired to the mandatory draw against Mirage. You're not really wanting to do that. You really don't want the draw. You want to have that boost because magic numbers really punishes things.
Big time.
Yeah. So in your Royal Knight matchup, what would you have done differently if you could have changed up a play or two? Or was it just really just a bad hand just did not unbrick itself?
I would have... So, going over it, game 1, I admittedly had no idea what his deck did. I asked every time they played a card. I didn't know what little Yiggy did in the back. No idea. No idea. The thing was just... Yggdrasil was just... I had no idea. I was like, well, what are you doing? Okay. Next. Game 2, I just OTK'd him.
Okay.
I just said, oh, is that you have a system on out there? Right into it, unsuspend, swing, what's on it for game? He was like, yep, okay. Game 3, they decided to go first, which is probably optimal for their deck.
Of course.
My opening hand was the full line without a rookie, and I had a member. So, I trusted that going second with a draw for turn and my mem boost that I would find a rookie, and I didn't. I didn't find a rookie until turn 5, I think, and that's the next turn he omnied and killed me. So, unfortunately, I think the matchup is fine. It's probably like 50-50. Maybe it's Wargrey favor because I can swing into his stuff as he plays it.
Yeah.
But you have to see it. If you don't see your stuff and you don't apply immediate pressure, or just straight out OTK them, it's like how I mentioned earlier. If you give decks too much time, they're gonna beat you.
Yep. Pummel you into the ground.
Yep. And when you're playing a fast deck like this, if you really can't beat your opponent fast enough, you lose. The game's over.
For sure. But thank you for coming on the channel. I do appreciate it. And hopefully you guys learned a lot from this Wargreymon master that decided to just go and decide fate to decide it. Man doesn't even think about what he was going to go. Like, man, I have 2 options. Let Russian Roulette Lady Luck come to my side, and Lady Luck provided.
That's correct. Sure did.
Okay, thank you so much, Nick, for stopping by on the channel. Hopefully we can see maybe you top this weekend in the regional and beat more Shine Boys with their belief that you only have 2 Hades forces.
We'll play a fourth one for we'll play a fourth one for PPG. How about that?
This man's ballsy.
Hey, it does the thing. If you want to play your Tamers, I'll kill him.
Okay.
But thank you for having me on Avatar. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you for stopping by. Catch you guys later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and peace.